All right, good morning. Good morning. All right. So markets are up here a bit, all right, almost 200 on the Dow, getting close there. You can see on YM and the NQs. So as the market sold off yesterday into this support area, we're looking at the NASDAQ 100 ETF, the Qs here. You see, this is what the beginning of a tradable low begins to set up to look like. There's a few things to go over here. One of the main things, of course, is support to the left. There's got to be a reason why buyers show up based on price, not based on necessarily a moving average, a trend line, an indicator, anything. You look to the left, you look at price, and you say, hey, this is where buyers showed up in a meaningful way in the past. And the assumption is they're likely to show up there again. Same way down here, right? Over here, when it fell down to this swing low. And so it gapped up and moved up into resistance. But this was the beginning of the move down. And when that happens, this is pretty much the norm where you get the lower high as it retraces, sometimes up to the 20, give or take. And, so it didn't touch the 20. Maybe it touched an exponential 20 or a 21 or an 18 or who knows. It really doesn't matter. At Master Trader, we get away from the exactness of thinking holy grail type of thinking of, okay, this was the moving average that it touched exactly. And you can see over here, there was some overlapping congestion where sellers were, and they showed up again. And you see this move down. I pointed this out, I think in the newsletter, well, maybe it was here. It's like, this is a kind of a measured move where this move down was about the same, give or take, as the other one. But it lines up in an area of major support right there. So Qs were down just over 11%. And wide range bar yesterday. And we know that when prices are declining over a period of time, and then a wide range bar emerges, it suggests the end of a move. In other words, it's okay, buyers begin to throw in the towel. Those that were holding out, they said this thing is not going to stop going down. And in unison, a lot of selling comes in and we see the big volume spike. Now, this does not mean it's going to reverse the trend. It just means that there's going to be a slowing in momentum and potentially a short-term bounce. And this is what we have right now. And we can see on the weekly chart how it's come down into the same support area there. So it just lines up to make sense that some type of an attempt to rally up from here is going to happen. And we've got the beginnings of that today. So prices are up 172-ish right up here. We can get rid of this line that's been done. I was looking at the unfilled gap area there. So that's been dealt with. And so now, is there anything to the left? No, we look at the intraday charts and we look at the futures and we see, yes, there is. So similar to yesterday when we reviewed pre-market and things were up at that time, we reviewed the fact that prices were up into some resistance and we had to be careful there as far as whether to get caught up in thinking that this was going to be where prices return because of the 200 MA. And I pointed out, well, there's nothing to the left there. That's one of the weaknesses, if you will, about moving averages and why they're subjective. They're widely followed on daily indices, but they're subjective as a reference point of support. They're not real support, only price is real support. But we know that many, especially institutions, are going to follow that. And when it gave way, boom, down to the real support. And that's where buyers began to show up. So now we'll see today, what we do is go through our factory work. Let me drag this down here. And we say, okay, where's around halfway mark of that red bar? And so what I will see where today ends up, can it, it's retraced halfway into the red bar. Where does it close? Do buyers continue to show up here today? And do we get a green bar that closes relatively deep into this red bar? Does it totally negate it, which would be impressive to be able to retrace all of yesterday's losses? So we'll see where it is. Or does it stay down here? So does this day end up with a candle body down below this 50% area? If it does rally, does it have a topping tail? And so on. This is part of what we covered last week in MT Live as bar by bar analysis. So we'll see what that next bar looks like. By the way, tomorrow, MT Live is about voids. You don't want to miss that. Get signed up for it. So as prices move up here, as I said, we'll see where this what this does. It continue to itch up. Let's just look at the 5 minute, get a little more detail as to what this is doing here, and we can see. Forget these tails. It's just continuing to push up here, and I'll just scrunch this up. So a little bit more of a view as I expand this and say, well, where is the significant resistance? Because different time frames give us different views. I would say that's up around here. Somewhere in here is where the sellers are going to show up in this area in stronger force. And this is obviously the pre-market data. So it'll gap up into resistance. So with that being said, think about, do you want to buy a gap up into resistance? Not me. I will wait to see what the reaction is to that resistance, and I'll look at other sectors as well, more indices as well, to see if one looks more desirable than another. Is there actually a price void? Is there potential for it to move up into that void, and so on? Well, let's take a look at the spiders. Obviously look different. They tried to hold the 200, nothing there. The gap down, moved lower, didn't get all the way down to that low area there. And as you can see, the same thing, that they're moving up here as I speak. Let's look at the hourly here. So bottoming type of price action, it's cleared this. So I think the S&Ps will have greater potential for trading them on the long side, assuming that things hold up here. After things get started, let me drag this down here. After things get started at the open, I think this has greater potential to move up into this area up here. And of course, we'll follow that on a smaller time frame. So that would be my bias at the open, that this can go higher. I'll focus on that and see about entries to take it up into this area, and then we'll see what happens. And this is in a downtrend, so the 200 MA is there. It tried to hold, so there is real resistance there now, where on this bar where it tried to hold and it couldn't. So we'll see how far this gets today in this market. Diamonds broke down through. They have been the weaker. They're up at 250, so gapping above the high of that bar. Good start. Taking out the prior day's high. We'll see how far it gets. Same factory work. Where's the next reference point of resistance? Over there. The weekly chart has been damaged, breaking down through major support here. This prior swing low, this pivot low, and it's major support because it made a higher high. So now the trend has been violated on the weekly time frame, opening up the door to dropping significantly. So that and this is what we look at, we would talk about as being a void. There's a little bit of support here. We go down to the daily time frame, these overlapping opens and closes. But this is a point in time where buyers have to show up and save the day here, because the door has been opened to a significant drop here, looking at this chart. So that has to begin to rebuild here and create an area of support right here to see if they can hold this area here. Otherwise, bar by bar, we'll see what happens at the end of the day. So for example, it's gapping up here. If at the end of the day, we've got a red bar that's closing down here, what does that suggest? Right? Simple when you think about it in simple terms. Let's look at the Russell. Breakdown, the same. Door is open to a significant drop. Is this the start of rebuilding an area of support here? Time will tell. Right? We need more information. Right now, 174, 47, 48, nice gap up, close to resistance. So you got to be careful with this one. If it breaks out above these highs and starts pushing up into this area there, that you don't get shellacked with it coming right back down in your face. And so we'll see. And transports, which have broken down, and they are not near any support. And it doesn't trade much pre-market, so there's really nothing to go on here other than it'll probably follow the other markets, but we'll keep an eye on that to make sure that it does. And you can see this is broken down, and the next support level, and it's not even a significant support level right here, is much lower. So we'll monitor that. That's what we do. We monitor various markets and different indices and see how they recover or not. And of course, we're going to want to keep an eye on technology, right? Wide range bar, pick up in volume, 200. It's in the area of a pivot low. Internet, right? Facebook, Amazon, all of them getting hit yesterday. Facebook on its 200, just touching there. But look how the 200 was in alignment with the pivot low, big wide range bar. We'll see what happens and the news as far as breaking it up. Politicians trying to prove that they're doing something for all of us. Amazon breaking down below the 200, really doesn't have any significant support to down here, but a wide range bar nonetheless. So we'll see. Same thing, because what does it do? How far does it retrace? Does it stay in the lower half, so on and so forth? But clearly this is broken. The weekly chart, deeper retracement, getting towards support. It's in an area where it should try to rebuild. Financials, take a peek over there. Holding up relatively well compared to some other sectors. And we'll see what happens. Just take a look at the futures here quickly. Right, S&P's bouncing up from that support level. And everyone, listen, just look to the left. Get away from the Fibonacci's and channels and all of that hocus pocus. It's really this simple. Where were buyers before? Right? Look at multiple time frame trends, and they're likely to show up there again. And there you go. So now it's just coming up to the 200, and we're trying to hold and failed. We'll see some sellers there, probably relatively close to the open, I think, since it's going up and it's gapping up there. You can see it's coming up into this prior swing high, pivot high there, and so on. But the door is open to possibly coming up here. We'll just see how it unfolds. And Qs, similar story, right? Pivot low, wide range bar, bouncing up. We'll see how this shapes up. It'll probably take another week or so before we really know how significant this low may or may not be. Dow, same story, moved under, but it's bouncing up. It's in a downtrend. Sellers are going to show up again. And somewhere up in there, not too far away. And got through 25,000. Well, again, these are areas. So this is the way I would suggest. I didn't mean to do that. Duplicate it. And so you look at it as an area. We don't know where it's going to stop. So it's pushing through here. 25, 200 is the top of this congestion. Whether it goes to the top of that, stops in the middle of it, we know there's going to be sellers in this area. And then we'll just see how it advances on a smaller time frame. We'll use the 5-minute and see, does it break trend on the 5-minute as it goes up there, and has it potentially roll over, because we know sellers are going to be here because of the daily downtrend. Bonds are down as they should be with the markets advancing. We covered the fact that they were coming up into this resistance area to the left, and that odds were getting higher and higher that sellers were going to show up here with this advance, and there you go. Pretty simple. Right? Move up into resistance, and sellers are here. Mentioned that look for this to happen, for that to stabilize the market, and mentioned oil in this area, while it's stabilized, it's really not advancing. It's just going sideways here, so some relative weakness. And lastly, gold, which had a really nice move. It's going to consolidate or digest this gain, that great gain that it's had over the last few days. It's got room to go higher, but with equities stabilizing here, odds are this is going to chop around. So we'll see how far equities get and what kind of damage that does to gold, which had a really nice move. So the analysis is relatively simple when you know where to look and what to look for. That's what we do every day. Those of you that are on YouTube, we continue this in the green room every day, looking at different markets and stocks and so on. So with that being said, all yours, Dan. Cover what we got open and gappers and so on.
All right, thanks. Good morning. Yeah, I sent out a text alert this morning saying with this gap up, and we had the bullish sentiment yesterday. Then I'm going to be looking to be selling put spreads this morning and maybe shorting the TLT. It's a Climo, which is shorted as a swing and or a call spread. And thirdly, VXX. I'm shocked also that this didn't get a whole lot higher. If it did, then that would have been one of our go-tos of selling a call spread on that. We love selling call spreads on volatility ETFs after many crashes. Let's go look at our opens here. ANTM in the weekly, we have a put spread. CMG, we have a call spread. Excuse me, we covered half yesterday at a nice gain, and I tightened the stop, so we'll just let that play out. It'll be at a profit. AMT, we have a put spread. STZ put spread, and I just sent an alert with the gap up. Let's go ahead and move the stop to yesterday's low. Shop, I had a number of folks say they didn't get filled yesterday. If you did for some reason, then it looks fine, but I sent out a text saying with the market gap up, and it's just churning higher here pre-market. So I know we got that resistance, but if we close strong or even the first 30 minutes hold well, I want to start selling put spreads. These are the environments that we love. And just because we didn't get, the further sell-off we wanted, we've been on alert for, for tradable bounce. And this isn't changing the trend, of course. Greg just went over all that with you. All right, Golf Hotel, we have a covered call and a put spread. CMG, we're short the stock in the swing and options trader. CHD, we're long stock. Greg gave that into the close. It looks great. PLAB, we're short stock, but with a tightened stop. AMT, we have a put spread in here also. June 14 expiration. GWR, covered call. ARNA is our cannabis stock. I moved the stop to Friday's low already. Lima Hotel, we have the, no, I closed this one out yesterday. Okay, I gotta close it out. I closed out the call side of it. We still have a put spread on this and this longer term solar play, SPWR. All right, that's it on opens. Let's see what we have here in gapping land. Solly, that's a crazy trader, 1750, gapping up a little bit. I don't like the way it trades. Yeah, I got coup in here. CMD, 67 bucks. This was on earnings, so that's a bearish gap, but there's congestion there. DCI had earnings. I can't tell where it's gapping. Well, it shows here to 45 bucks, but I don't see any prints, so I don't trust it. NAV 3263. It's a bullish gap up, but no price void. Shop. Oh, that's the one we just talked about. Kerbal had earnings. Was up all the way to 172, the top of the range. Now it got slammed back down to 165. That's a big mess. NAV, yeah, that's the truckers, right? Isn't that what NAV is? Makes software for trucks, something like that. Or maybe the trucks themselves. MT gap up here, 1550, but that's still an ugly trend. Box 1529, it's a bearish gap down, but it's a big gap down. Well, I don't know, we'll come back to it. CTRM 8 cents, so it's a bullish gap, but I don't like the way this trades at all. So I just delete it. There's our coup. 109 and change. It's a bullish gap, but no price void. Triple L, this was left over from yesterday. I have it in my other window. It looks good. LE had earnings. We could get a day trade long out of this. It's very spotty, light volume here. AMT, we're in. VTR, 6250. All right, this one has a price void. I like this. I'm going to put this on a window. That's a short watch. Tiffany's been all over the place this morning. Wow. So now it's 92.80. I have that in actually in this upper right window already. FNF. This came from your list, McGraw, I think. I like it. I like this new low retest. The weekly's kind of a bull flag. APO. That might have been your, I don't know if that's your list or not, it doesn't matter, but possible put spread. And GPC, Alex flagged this one yesterday as a retest. It's worth watching. Lima Kilo, that was our nice coffee shop swing trade. BBBY, I was hoping for more acceleration down before trading it as a Climo. Alta, I put in the weekend letter. I'm watching this as a put spread because of the negating the bearish gap, bottoming tail, range expansion, volume. It's not a directional, but you know, we could sell the 315s. CPRT, I have posted over 72 bucks. We'll do a put spread. CDW is a bearish 1, 2, 3 if it triggers. Intel, I've been watching if it can get over this last week's pivot. Uber, I saw was in the news. I don't know what they were talking about, but it was on CNBC a lot. This is kind of a bull flag, sloppy one. But if it's now gapping over yesterday's high, making all of this support. Facebook, relative weakness in the FANG department. Anything not gapping up today is weak. Look at this beyond. That is a volatile stock right now. And we looked yesterday, it has earnings. Cron, pot stock. Not doing so hot. Michael Jackson fell off a cliff. Apple, there's nothing there. Look, there's no price void. Look to the left on that 15-minute chart. Amazon though, maybe, yeah, I like yesterday's wide range bar. I'm gonna watch that for a put spread for Friday. Any of these are just gonna be short term. Facebook still weak. Google, I don't like the bearish gap down. It could give you a day trade on the 15-minute chart. Netflix broke down, got no interest. Tesla, that's a nasty downtrend. I like Amazon the best of the FANGs or put spread candidate. All right, so we're just sitting back and watching here for a few minutes. Do what I always do, take a look at our opens, our tier ones. VTR. Ooh, that's a bearish gap. Oh, that's the one I have right here, yeah.